There you go. Wouldn't you know there'd be a jet landing in Nashville today, right?
Well, good morning.
God bless America.
God bless America. It's Sunday, October 10th, and today we're going to a place that neither one of us have ever been before, and that is the Hermitage, which is Andrew Jackson's home near Nashville, Tennessee. So
we'll get back with you after we get through the
museum here. And we're going to take a mansion tour. We don't think we can film in the mansion tour, but we can film the grounds. So enjoy.
£5,000 of cured pork every year to feed the Jackson family, their guests, and about 140 slaves. Before refrigeration, salt curing was continued to prevent food from spoiling. After slaughter, workers buried the hands, side meats, and shoulders in salt.
Okay, that's back of the house. Andrew Jackson.
Smokehouse is on the right here.
That is the smokehouse.
And this little thing right here, wasn't this the kitchen?
Yes. And there was the kitchen. And here is Uncle Alfred's cabin. And
let's see if they have I bet they have a little storyboard with that.
And there it is. Pause that, guys. If you want to read anything on it. The workyard.
I'm going to take a picture of it if you want me to.
Okay. And I'm headed to Uncle Alfred's cabin. This was Andrew Jackson's manservant and a foreman, and pause it, you'll get his whole story.
Alfred's cabin.
And this was his place of residence. As you can see, it's very close to the main house. And of course, Alfred was a black man. Who lived on this plantation his whole life. And he died in 1901.
He was 98?
I believe he was 98 or 99. 98, I believe. And even after the state of Tennessee bought the farm, he still lived here.
Let me see if I can get some photos.
And very interesting. And, you know, the good and the bad of Andrew Jackson will always be debated, but
He was a complicated man.
he's a very complicated man in complicated times. So,
And complicated issues.
and yeah. So, for this was a cotton plantation. And
He was very successful as a cotton farmer.
but it's a very interesting thing, and PBS has a thing on YouTube
Yeah, we'll link it in the
that
description.
I'll link in the description that you should really watch.
He was our first president that didn't come from money.
Yep.
He was an orphan.
Yep.
His parents came from Ireland.
Yep.
And they died in the Revolutionary War.
Yep.
And I think his brother did too.
He did.
And
he was
an
alone.
orphan.
When he was a teenager. He was 13 or 15.
I think it was 14.
And he went out and made his fortune. So we're going to take a walk up to his graveyard.
That's where he learned to fight.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
just had this survival instinct, you know?
Yeah. So I don't know how good we'll do this, but if you look down there, there are some of the cabins
We're gonna walk
for
we
the
can walk
blacks.
that loop. It's
But
about-
we're going to head that way, and we'll get back with you when we get there. Okay, guys. Here at the Hermitage, they have 1,100 acres. And when Andrew Jackson was here, there was up to 2,200 acres. And it was a cotton plantation, as we said. And it was really a gorgeous place. Very pretty.
Watch your head. Heads up.
I'm lucky.
It's about waiting for me to frame mine.
Okay, we're going into Rachel's garden, Hermitage garden, and oh, sorry. And we're headed to Andrew Jackson's tomb. And here, guys, is great. Definitely read this. This is a good board.
Well, guys, our tour of the Hermitage in Nashville is done. And just wanted to give you some impressions on what we thought about it. Brian, you got some thoughts you'd like to share?
Yeah, it was, I mean, it was okay, you know.
We were slightly disappointed.
Yeah.
That's the best way. You know, we don't want to try to be negative, but maybe our expectations were too high. I don't know. The grounds were beautiful. I thought the grounds were fine.
Yeah.
We had to pay. You had two different options. Well, we chose. You know, you can get a ground access pass where you have access to like 1,100 acres, and you can see the Hermitage mansion from the outside. But if you pay extra money, you can actually get a tour of the mansion. And there are time slots. When you're doing it online, when you're selecting your tickets, you have to select a time to be there. Both Brian and I thought that they were taking too many people in at once. We think our group had maybe 15 to 20 people. And the rooms were rather small. You didn't really get a good, and they had like areas roped off where you really couldn't even get in the room to see them. You could only see them from a glass enclosure. And only so many people could look in that glass enclosure at the same time. And by the time you got a chance to go look at it, they were already moving to the next room, and you weren't really getting, you know, benefit from that.
Because that group, they would run one group in, and you go in the big foyer, and there's two rooms you can look in, and you know, you're trying to look in the rooms, and then they've got another one that's going up the hallway to the bedroom, and they wedge them in, and then they get you in a hallway for 15. There's no way you can look at his bedroom good.
And what would you say?
No.
15 minutes? Were we in there 15 minutes? And that was upstairs down. And this is a 8,000 square foot house.
Yeah,
and
you know, I don't want to be super negative.
We're glad we went, right? This might not have been on our overall bucket list of what we have to see before we die. But it is on it was on a Tennessee bucket list.
Well, yeah, and you know, you're in the state, and you know, you hate not to go to it. I mean, it's kind of one of your supposedly local treasures, but
it was historic, right? But you know, Brian and I both thought that, you know, we had watched a documentary on YouTube. It was a PBS documentary last night. It was like 2 hours, And we thought that even though it didn't detail the Hermitage that much, it gave you a lot of history about Andrew Jackson. I mean, things I didn't know, because I didn't pay attention to history when I was in school. I hated it. But as I've gotten older, I've gotten an appreciation for it. Thought it was pricey for the ground pass and the mansion tour. It was $24 a person, plus they tack on like a $5 fee. So we spent like $53 for something that don't know whether we got what we paid for.
See, if you go to see Andrew Johnson's, great. It's up on the hill and you can easily read the marker. But they had this.
Or if you go to Mount Vernon, George Washington's.
Yeah, it's easy.
I mean, they had a lot of things roped off in George Washington, but you could get in the house and move around and
this you really could.
You know,
this was probably like I said, I mean, I'm glad I went and saw it.
It was historic.
I won't go back.
We won't go back.
No. Just because of the and then you go out and see even his tombstone. Like I said, you couldn't even read it. Whoever took if you look on YouTube and you see pictures of it, they've had a big selfie stick that's very high, or it was put out by the
museum, right?
The thing itself. I mean, there's a lot of original furnishings there.
Yeah.
And
we found out he was
actual bed that he passed in.
Right.
It's all the furniture in it is basically his when he lived there. But
and what was funny?
But a horrible tour.
Obviously, he was very frugal. Because he had some in that foyer. There were a lot of things like up on the stair that looked like marble.
Yeah.
And it wasn't marble. It was what? It was that. It was poplar that had been kind of like painted. Yeah. So it wasn't even real, but it looked real.
Yeah.
And things that looked like mahogany ended up
was
poplar.
Yeah. Everything. A lot of poplar. So everything was popular.
It was crowded. They were. I think the tours are too short. I think they have too many people going in at one time.
Yeah, because one will pass you to another one, and then they'll wedge you all in this hallway. That the hallway was probably as small as the hallway of my house when me and Donna had a house and lived in Florida.
We did learn a couple of new things, and Brian got him a cool T-shirt.
Yeah, I got a T-shirt.
We didn't get the video inside at all.
No photographs.
So apologize. So all you've been able to see, you might have seen some video of Brian outside, and I'm gonna throw in some pictures there. But
and remember that too. No photography.
No photography.
You've got to get a special permission. Everything.
Yeah.
For them to let you go in and film it. So look on YouTube, because they are some people that's got to go in and
I'm glad I went, because it was on one of the things I wanted to do. Maybe my expectations were too high.
But it was a good road trip.
Good history lesson. And a beautiful day.
Yeah.
So thank you all for watching. And if you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next video. We won't tell you what that's going to be. So take care, all.